another episode of the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Danny Lacrosse, and also alongside Quinny, Payne, and we finally got Mahoney back. We just got back from the All Star Break, and Bruins did play Tuesday night with an upsetting loss against Toronto Maple Leafs. But first, I want to talk about, Frank Vatrano being put down to the Providence Bruins. He's been doing very well with us. Your thoughts of what the organization was thinking when they put Frank Vatrano down, any of you?
Definitely think with Vatrano, it was you had Pasternak coming back. They want to give him more minutes, more ice time to develop his game. He's still a young player. He's only been a professional. This is his first season. He was playing college hockey at UMass last year. He went down, and he's been good since he went down there. I believe he scored on his first shot. I know that. I believe it was in the first 3 minutes of a game down in Providence. So he's still putting up numbers, averaging a goal a game, over a point a game. So it's invaluable. He'll get power play time. He can develop his skills more. He's still learning how to be a pro with meetings and everything. So I think it's the right decision, but I think he's destined to be called up soon, probably again this season.
Yeah, I too think he's destined to be called up soon. He's proven that he can put the puck in the net several times. When he does come back, I'd like to see him on the second line. I'd like to see Brett Conley down in the AHL, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Brett Conley, hasn't really done much. I heard Coach Claude Julien giving him a chance on being on the top line with Patrice Bergeron and I think David Krejci it was, and he couldn't just perform. He actually gave Ryan Spooner a chance, and Ryan Spooner went to, was it right wing, I believe? He's usually a centerman, but he went to right wing.
Yeah, with the Ryan Spooner thing, I definitely think he's more comfortable in the middle. It's where he's grown up playing. It's where he excels the most at his game. Brett Conley, they tried, it didn't work. I think they were trying to catch magic in the bottle. They got him in a trade for next to nothing. He was the 6th overall draft pick in 2010, but he hasn't panned out as Taylor Hall and Tyler Seguin picked up a few spots before him in that draft.
I too would like to see.
It's all right. You can.
I lost my train.
You can. Yeah, you lost your train of
Excuse
thought.
me.
Well. Anyway, Frank Vatrano is a young kid, and he can only progress. I think he's a really good hockey player. He's been doing well with the Boston Bruins, performing very well. Speaking of Spooner being at right wing, back in January, they played Montreal Canadiens, and they actually played in their old, not old, but winter classic jerseys. I think for Dana Lang, she had an accident at Gillette. Very tragic story, but she is doing well, and they did auction off the jerseys. Any fan could auction off a Winter Classic jersey with it signed after the game. But the Bruins did perform very well against the Montreal Canadiens that night. Any train of thoughts, what you guys thought of that game? I mean, they definitely performed very, very well compared to the Winter Classic in the beginning of January.
Yeah, it was a good rebound game. I think they really needed it after the showing they had in Gillette. I would have liked to see them come out, and they got a 4-1 victory. But I'd like to see him play with a little more tenacity. To get embarrassed like that was really tough, and I think they need to come back strong.
And Montreal is a tough place to play, no matter how poor the Canadiens are doing right now. Starting out 9-0, and since Carey Price has gone down, they just keep seeming to sink lower and lower every game. So it is important to get 2 points, especially against a team in the division. But those are 2 points you need to get because Montreal is down there in the division, and you want them to be chasing you as you come down the final stretch of the season.
It's weird to think that the Bruins are already finished playing Montreal for the season, and it's nice to know that we actually did end the series with a win this season.
Yeah, it's always good to win against our arch rivalry, the Boston Bruins. I mean, not the Boston, but the Montreal Canadiens. I'm sorry, guys. Also going around, last month, the Bruins have been up and down with wins and losses, Unfortunately, they lost Tuesday night against Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, I thought they were doing pretty well, but it's just that third period that killed me. The overtime goal, I just thought it just terrible ending performance. But any thoughts on Toronto Maple Leafs game?
When you lose a game like that, it makes me question whether they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline. I don't know when you're blowing games like that against teams that frankly aren't all that good. If this is a team that if they push for a playoff spot, if they're actually going to have success, or are they going to get bounced quickly. So going forward, I think the next couple weeks of the season, I think, is going to tell you a lot as far as whether they are going to be buyers or sellers. I mean, hopefully they are buyers, but the Toronto game definitely makes them look like sellers.
Yeah, I think that game just spoke volumes to how bad this team needs defense. They need a top 4 defenseman bad on this team. I think I heard a stat today. They've given up 7 2-goal lead games this year and lost them. That's just incredible. And their home record is this team is just compared to their road record, it's unbelievable. To not be able to secure home ice is a big problem I think that they have that they need to fix.
Yeah, it's definitely weird that this team's so good on the road. I think it's 15-5-2 that they stand at right now. But when they come home, they just don't seem to have it together. It's like they can't get up for it because they're not going to play the game somewhere else. They need to learn how to win at home. They need to do it soon.
Yeah, they've been performing well away. They're more of a away team, coming with a victory than playing at home and coming with a victory. They've lost more games at home than away, and they seem like an away team right now. And they definitely need a strong defenseman. And speaking of that, the draft is coming up at the end of the month. It's February 29th, I believe. Couple of offers going on. I think the Bruins should definitely pick up. I don't know what their budget is, but I think the Bruins should definitely pick up a strong defenseman that can do the job and perform with the other young defensemen. I don't know. What do you guys think about that with the February trade deadline coming up? There's definitely people on the table that you can see not going anywhere. Like, I can see Steve Stamkos still staying, even though his contract is coming up, and I think it's unrestricted that he to be traded. But any thoughts of what the Bruins should do during this trade deadline, or should do anything?
I think to bring in that top 4 defenseman that they need, they're definitely going to have to move a big piece from the offensive side of the puck because they don't have a lot of cap room. So I think to bring in that top 4 defenseman, you're going to have to move a player like Louis Eriksson to kind of match contracts almost to make sure you can stay under the salary cap. But it'll all come down to what they feel is most important to them, and maybe they're just going to sell out and try to hit the free agent market, or maybe they're just going to not do this halfway rebuilding thing like they seem to have been doing the last couple of years and just bottom out.
I too think that they're going to move Louis Eriksson at the trade deadline. His contract is just they can't seem to get it together. They can't see eye to eye, the Bruins and Louis Eriksson. So I think he is a good starting piece. I think you move him for a young defenseman. I know the Wild have a few defensemen out there. Jonas Brodin, Matthew Dumba. I've heard those names thrown around. I know St. Louis is interested in moving Kevin Shattenkirk. They're also looking for scoring. So I think it'd be a good fit if you could put together something from any one of those.
Yeah, there was lots of talk about over the last month about Louis Eriksson and his contract, whether they should come up with a deal or let his contract. I think it ends in July. Let his contract be expired in July. But I do think it's a good move to make some sort of deal with trading Louis Eriksson. But we'll definitely see what goes on in at the end of the month. Also, the All-Star game recap. We'll quickly talk about that. I did like the 3-on-3 matchup. I don't know what you thought about it, Quinny and Payne and Mahoney. I liked it. More goals scored. Short shifts, but there was plenty of movement on the ice, and goals were scored very quickly. What do you guys think of the new 3-on-3 matchup?
It was fun hockey to watch, 3-on-3. The significance of it to the league is minimal, but it's fun to see the top players in the world out there playing together with that much open space, and picking their corners. Trying some stuff you wouldn't see in a 5-on-5 game, because if they did, their coaches would probably set them.
Yeah.
Right. You see a lot more room out there. You see a lot of odd-man rushes. You see 2-on-1s. More room to just showboat their talent. So I think it's good. I think it's good for the league.
Malkin actually did a little not a wrap around the net, but a wrap around.
Spin around
On one of his goals there. Also, the skills competition was also entertaining. I went out Saturday night, watched the skills competition. Not a fan of PK Subban, but I was happy to see him. Giving Jaromir Jagr, the notice. Being in the NHL for a very long time and coming here at the NHL All Star, that was really nice of him. I really enjoyed that little breakaway challenge, imitating Jaromir Jagr. Also, Brett Burns coming out with his Chewbacca head thing. It looked pretty fun out there. And rookie Red Wing broke a record in the skating competition. The last I'm trying to think who. Dylan Larkin, yes, beat Mike Gardner. The last record was in 1996, and the time was 13 seconds, 38.6. And the new record is 13.172, and I thought that was awesome. More young skaters getting faster and faster as we move on. And just a quick recap. I was pretty upset about John Scott getting MVP and scoring 2 goals. I just thought it was a little. That's my personal opinion. I just thought it was a little embarrassing, but you guys can quickly share what your thoughts were, but I just thought it was outright, pretty upsetting.
You want it?
With John Scott, the way the NHL treated with him, trying to get him to back out of the All-Star game, obviously wasn't right. Did he deserve to be there in the first place from a talent standpoint? No. And I just, some of the stuff he's pulled in the NHL and even off the ice is just not the quality person I would like to see represent and be a face of the league.
I 100% agree with you, Quinn, and it's just apparently it's a Cinderella story or something like that, but I don't know, it's just bull to me. But
I know personally, as a Bruins fan, no one should appreciate that after what happened last year when he hit Louis Eriksson.
Yeah, exactly.
Being a Bruins fan, I don't see how people can say they're a Bruins fan and enjoy something like that.
It's unheard of. Also, Kopitar getting an $8 million. I mean, no, not 8 million. 8-year contract extension, which was pretty nice. Couldn't think of anywhere else where he could be. LA Kings re-signed him an 8-year contract, and it was annual $10 million, worth $80 million. Thought that was pretty nice. I can't see Kopitar anywhere else. The LA Kings have a great organization and great players, and that was pretty good. Also, what do you guys are looking forward to? The rest of the season. It's like almost more than halfway through the season. You're thinking of who's not, and who is going to be in the playoffs. Any thoughts? Like what you expect and what can you see?
Me personally, I'm happy to see the Ducks turn around. I picked them to come out of the West before the season started, and they started off slow, and I felt like an idiot. Definitely for the first couple months of the season, but right now they're in third place in the Pacific Division. If the playoffs were today, they would be in there. So I'm interested to see how they turn it around. That they have a veteran-proven team. They need a top 6 forward themselves. I think that could be a possible landing spot for a player like Louis Eriksson.
For me, it's the Washington Capitals. I look at the year they're having. It's just that team is loaded. That team is absolutely loaded. They lead. The points they put up every night is incredible. Them and Dallas in the West. I think those are the 2 top teams that everyone should be gunning for right now.
I'm interested to see if the Canadiens, without Carey Price, end up making the playoffs. I know right now they've been struggling a lot, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can figure out this slump that they're in, and if they can find a way to make it into the playoffs.
Taking a gamble there?
No, I don't know if they are or aren't. I'm interested to watch and find out.
No, that's good.
I hope not.
It'd be nice to make it ourselves and not have to worry about them for once.
Yeah, exactly. You know, usually we play them in the first round if we're in the playoffs. Actually,
Sometimes, yeah.
Most of the time. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Stars. You know, Sagan, Jimmy Benn. Also, what do you expect from the Bruins the rest of the season?
Honestly, for me, it's a coin flip. If they play like they did Tuesday night, I'm not very hopeful for this team making the playoffs. Or if they do, I don't think it would be a very good showing.
Yeah.
They desperately need a defenseman, but they don't have room to bring one in if you trade prospects. So they're going to have to move a piece to bring in that. And they are one of the top scoring teams in the NHL this year. But so if trading a player of Louis Eriksson's caliber that plays on your top 6 forwards, is that going to deplete the offense significantly?
Without more consistent play, I see him getting into the playoffs, but I see him having a tough time getting out of that first round. And if they do, even tougher time in the second round. So it really comes down to like what your ambitions are. Like you'll know more about it after the deadline, what kind of moves they make, whether they're buyers or sellers. I think
the deadline kind of.
That'll see like where Don Sweeney's mindset is and what he thinks of this team. I think.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see if they're going to step up their play, even if they don't make any moves at the deadline. But playing the way they are right now, they don't have much of a shot.
They just need more
anywhere.
consistency, I think.
What helps though is the Atlantic. A lot of the teams are packed together as far as the standings go. If you look the other division in the Eastern Conference, Washington's heads and shoulders above everybody else. I don't think anybody's going to catch them.
Well, the Western Division's like really strong with their teams. I think, but the Eastern Division is more of up and down. Right, at the forget what the standings are, but Panthers are actually one of the top leading in our division right now. Then you got Tampa Bay, Detroit. But I don't know. On a personal level, I think the Western Conference is has strong teams and strong players. But I would love to see this season in Eastern Conference win the cup all the way. I know I've always rooted for the Blackhawks, but I'm gonna switch it up this year. I want an Eastern Conference to go all the way. You also see Claude Julien playing around with the lines, trying to find some stability. Like example with Ryan Spooner going to right wing, putting Frank Vatrano down, and what do you guys? What do you think his mindset is going with? I know he's trying to find stability, but what are your thoughts of?
I think he's trying to build chemistry. I would go a totally different direction. I think if you're going to have Pasternak up here, I think you give him more than 10 minutes a game. I think you get him off the 4th line and you put him somewhere where you can get the most out of him. And Spooner is a natural center. I think he goes. I think you have to. I love having the 3 sets of centers: Krejci, Bergeron, Spooner right there. I'd like to see Pasternak play with Spooner. I mean, they had some chemistry at the end of last year. I think that'd be a good.
I
That'd be a good duo.
I forgot to mention. I don't remember if we if Pasternak was back the last time we talked, but Pasternak is back, and performing okay. Strong for the Bruins, but I just wanted to mention, Pasternak is back with the Boston Bruins. Same with David Krejci, but David Krejci, a little edgy at first, but Krejci is a solid player, so I can see him come back strongly after that injury. But sorry to interrupt you, Payne.
No, that's okay. I kind of lost my mindset.
Sorry. Pasternak and
That's all
Spooner
right.
together.
Yeah, Pasternak and Spooner together. I mean, Pasternak's out there right now, and not only is he scoring goals, but he's making things happen, moving his feet. I mean, he's drawing penalties. He's making things happen. Every time he's out there, it seems like a positive thing. And I'd like to see him get some more time.
I actually like to see Bolesky play on a line with those two. I think you get a physical presence out there, set the tone, and that'll create more ice for, elite skill guys like Spooner and Pasternak.
You also had also around the Bruins, Gustavsson was on the IR, but today he's cleared, so he's playing. He had a little heart thing going on. Went to MGH, got some test results. Tests were negative. He was cleared to play today, according to the medical staff at the Boston Bruins organization. So, Gustafsson, we're happy to see you back. Strong backup goalie. I just wanted to point that out there. Also, what did you guys think about that hit against with Dennis Wideman against that lineman? I have mixed thoughts about it. Looks intentional, but people say it's not intentional, and he says it's not intentional after the game. But the video looks pretty bad. Just the way the video looks. Payne, you wanted this conversation, so.
Yeah, well, I think it's hard for him to deny not seeing that referee when he comes. You can clearly see him put his hands up, so he definitely sees something coming.
Yeah,
there's no way. Yeah, there's a cross-check motion there, and I think it's good. I think the 20 games is good. I think there's no room in hockey for that, and he needs to be made an example of if you're gonna do stuff like that.
He's
I
also
think he knew.
Yeah, he's also obviously no. He's also not been that type of person to do something like that. But I think the NHL has a great guideline of suspensions and keep your players in line. So at first I wasn't, but I'm fully with the 20-game suspension. So I still have mixed thoughts about it. It clearly looked intentional, but he admitted it wasn't, and he apologized to the refs after the game or on ice.
I think it was intentional. They're saying, they try to come up with an excuse that he experienced a head injury.
Yeah,
he did finish that game. He continued to play. He did look a little woozy on the bench. And actually, I was reading an article today that he and the Flames might actually get themselves in a little bit of more trouble as far as missing time because they didn't totally follow concussion protocol with him staying in that game. But I think the 20-game suspension is justified. As bad as refs are sometimes, you have to protect them. They're out there. They make the games happen.
Yeah, that's a tough and dangerous job. It's good that we have refs out there to keep the game in line. Connor, have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, when I watched the hit, I just couldn't believe that if he wasn't trying to hit him, why didn't he try and grab him, bear hug him, put him in a position where he wouldn't get hurt, where the player wouldn't get hurt? There's just so many scenarios where it shouldn't have happened, and it's hard after watching the film to think that it wasn't intentional, just with the scenario and the other outcomes that could have happened if he had taken a different approach.
Yeah, well, we hope that that doesn't happen again. you gotta stay safe. But so we'll quickly talk about the Bean Pot. First round of the Bean Pot was BC and Harvard. BC obviously won, and then the second game was BU Northeastern. BU won. I don't know if you guys caught the game Monday night, and then next week we got BC and BU and Harvard Northeastern. BC and BU are the championship game, and then the consolation game at 4:30 and 7. So, quick predictions. What do you guys think who's gonna take home the Bean Pot?
Go BC.
I think BU's going to take it.
BU?
But,
What about
I
you?
think it's just classic Bean Pot, BC, BU.
It's tough. I think BU's going to take it this year. I got to go for the hometown boys playing up in BU.
Hometown. Ryan Fitzgerald is a Bruins draft pick. He scored. He scored against Harvard.
Mike Moran.
Ted Donato.
I'm gonna go with the Terriers. I'm gonna predict
Ryan
the
Donato.
Terriers.
Talk to you all on the March show.
I know. I know. I'm a Jimmy Hayes fan. Jimmy Hayes did play for BC. Also, let's quickly look at that February and March schedule, just very quickly. All right. So, got Toronto, Buffalo, Los Angeles, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Detroit. That's the end of February. Then we got it's another February.
Definitely think of the first half of the month. You got to jump out and look at Milan Lucic's return to Boston. It'd be interesting to see what kind of reception he gets.
Can't
I think
wait for
it'll
that
be
one.
positive, but it'll be an emotional game.
All right,
Somebody
and then
better go home.
that's your March schedule there for you. Quickly look: Calgary,
Chicago and Washington.
Washington, Chicago, my team, Florida, Tampa Bay, Carolina, New York Islanders, and yeah, well, guys, it's been another episode. I don't have any quick games or quizzes for you, but each of one of you give a shout out to your favorite Valentine out there, because it is a month of love, I guess.
My shout out goes to Kyle McCafferty, VFI.
Mine goes to the host right here, Danny Lacrosse.
Oh,
Handsome gentleman. Ladies, take notice.
I'm going to have to go with Rosemary Mahoney, who's celebrating her 29th birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday.
That's real sweet of you.
Happy birthday, Rosie.
Love you, Ro.
My Valentine, it's been one of those years where it's been up and down, so I'm going to give a shout out to my mother. Courtney, I do love you. But Paula Lacrosse, you're my Valentine. Actually, all my friends, families, and peers of Valentine's, thanks for the support, and thank you for tuning in the Neutral Zone. This has been another episode of the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Danny Lacrosse. Have a wicked awesome week, wicked awesome weekend. Go Bruins, go Celtics, and the Sox are just around the corner.
Walk in the Bees game, all I see is black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, my hat's blue and red, but my jersey's all black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I'm from a town where it's sports over everything.
Man, we're gonna have to cut that.
Black and yellow, black and
Did you
yellow,
see that?
black and yellow. It's Red Sox.
Phil Lahr, did you see that?